Now, let's talk about familial hypercholesterolemia. First and foremost, you pay attention to cholesterolemia. What does that mean to you? It means that you can't help it, especially if it's familial. So genetically speaking, there's something taking place in your patient in which there is going to be accumulation of LDL, right? Okay, next. If there's accumulation of LDL, that means hypercholesterolemia. But remember, there are a couple things here. This brings us to type 2 hyperlipidemia. If you're unclear about that, please make sure that you go back to some of our discussions where I specifically have told you how to take care of LDL receptors. Now, the biggest drug that has now come out in terms of proper management of hypercholesterolemia, and many times this will be the first place where you're hearing this, which is good for you because you'll be on top of all of your medicine. We have something called PCSK9, and this is what I was attempting to enunciate. But it's proprotein convertase subtilisin kexin 9. In other words, this is one of your monoclonal antibodies, and on your licensing boards, it's one of your monoclonal antibodies, either known as alirocumab, or the other one is evolocumab. You pay attention to the suffix locumab. What does this do? It's a serine protease. Now, what about this? Now, this is not a pharmacology lecture, but I need to introduce this to you because this is how vital this discussion is. Now, this patient's probably been on a statin already, may be proven to be refractory. Is that clear? I need you to pay attention. Many of you, this will be very much new information, but absolutely mandatory. Okay, so the patient's already on statin, that you know everything about. If you don't, well, you'll learn about it in pharm. But now what's important is the fact that this particular type of mutation then results in diminishment of or decreased activity of LDL receptors. If there's a way in which you could then inhibit this particular mutation, known as proprotein convertase subtilisin kexin, then you'd be able to improve the patient's prognosis dramatically, actually, and that's what research has now shown us. So as you go through here, you'll learn a little bit more. Loss of function mutation, most common associated with reduction in both LDL cholesterol and risk of IHD. LDL cholesterol, IHD is ischemic heart disease. And if there's a way in which you could then inhibit this, then you increase the outcome. Take a look at this. Reduces LDL cholesterol by up to 70%. If there's one particular point that you want to take away from this lecture with this drug, is the fact that you're going to have an amazing decrease, a dramatic decrease in LDL cholesterol, and therefore reduce the event of ischemic heart disease. Is that important? Oh my goodness, yes.